You want to know how I balance time? I mean,
Yeah.
again, other than during football season, right?
Tell me you stopped watching football and not being
I
friends.
did not. So that brings it back to that balance.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to totally give up my life for my MBA.
You
But it was
all the games, but
I stuck to Michigan and Notre Dame games, and then the other games. Okay, but yeah, I mean, it was amazing how much TV time you would burn watching 1 or 2 episodes of Law and Order. You kind of have to give those up, and that gives you some extra time. And then the other interesting thing is I took my homework everywhere I went.
Yeah.
So when my kids would play soccer, right? You all have kids? So if you think about it, the coach says, you want they're there an hour before the game. Okay, well, there's an hour. Then normally I would chit-chat with the other parents, and I told them, I said, look, I'm not meaning to be rude, but I'm studying for my MBA, so for this hour, I'm going to read. And then you watch the first half. Now I got 15 more minutes at halftime. Then I watch the second half. The game's over. He's going to talk to him for another 15 minutes about the game. I can read some more. And it's amazing how 30 minutes here, 15 minutes there, an hour there, and you've read your whole chapter. The alternative is you stay up till 2 a.m. So,
I read more textbooks waiting for airplanes to go.
yeah, international trips are great. 24 hours to India, you can get a lot of reading.
I never went anywhere without one of my textbooks. I had it with me, and it might only be time to read 10 pages, but it was there. I didn't have to take the 15 minutes to go find it, get set up, and then run out of time. So I always have something, and a lot of you tend to be this way with your work, but I always have something school handy. So if you do get even 15 minutes, you can use that, and that really adds up.
Yeah, or rather than go out to lunch with your colleagues, maybe you take your lunch and you sit and read for that hour. But you're right, I took my books with me everywhere. I had my homework with me always.
And the other thing I did is I kept in pretty good communication with my work. At first I was like, oh, my boss knows I'm going back to school. She doesn't really care to hear all the details. She's supportive, I get that, but I don't need to tell her. But by keeping her in the loop, I found out she was actually very supportive, to the point of, well, why don't you change this morning conference call so you can take that half an hour that you would have kind of wasted in between, and she was helping me to actually, well, we can find you some time, we can do some stuff. And then the other thing, which is very, very, very hard, is when it's your study time, turn off your phone, turn off your BlackBerry, step away from the email, step away from work, and use that for school. For me, it was very difficult to separate school and work, and so work would tend to win out. And when I made the effort I just need to put, nothing is happening at work in the next hour that is going to need me. And if it really is happening, I probably don't want to know about it anyway. So you've got to learn to separate a little bit your work time from your school time. And that can be just as difficult for some of us as the family and friend and the social life issue.
I think it was touched on a little bit before by Jim, but I will tell you this. Like he mentioned, don't wait till the last minute. If you've got papers and stuff that are going to be, read that syllabus the very first day you get it and go through there and look, because if you wait till the last minute, you're going to be panicking and going nuts trying to get it done. And you really, really will do a better job if you work it over time, especially if you're working on a team project, because your teammates aren't real happy if you wait till the last minute either. And they do have peer reviews here. So your teammates, and as well as you, have input on the other members of your team. But I found that I could actually purchase some of my textbooks electronically, and I kept them on my Kindle, which I think, do you have a Kindle here?
That's right.
I kept mine on my Kindle, but there is a disadvantage to that. If it's a book that you're just going to read, that's fine. The only disadvantage I found having electronic copies is it's harder to just flip through when you're looking for something. You have to go navigate to the index and then navigate around. But some of the books that were just purely reference, it worked out really well, and they were a lot cheaper.